You're listening to Making a Mentor, the podcast that turns artists into mentors. We speak to everyday musicians, producers, promoters, and anyone working in the music industry. We get an honest picture of what it is actually like to build a career in music. Follow us and learn from the people who are where you want to be. In this episode, we talk to Junior, a Warrington rapper. He talks about the journey of doing everything himself from his bedroom and how he maintains his mindset and productivity while recording his new album. Join us in the studio with Jack.
I go by the name of Junior. That's my artist name, and I've just released my first song in November last year, and since then just been consistent as I can, getting as many songs out. I think we're up to 9 now, and got a mixtape coming out very soon, so that's something to look forward to.
Yes, nice. And how long have you been releasing the tunes for? When was that first tune released? You said
early November it was, but obviously the process before that took a while, so I actually started making the songs. It must have been at least over a year. Over a year since then.
So did you release You're Stressed? That was the first one.
That was the first one, yeah.
So since November, then you've released 6 tunes in that year. After that.
Yeah, 9 up to now. We're currently recording this.
No way. So what have you had them all laid out then? So you got them all.
Yeah, I wanted to get a good foundation, because you hear about so-called rappers putting out a song and don't hear enough of them for another year or so, and then they're like, oh, look at me. But yeah, I wanted to have that base of 4 or 5 songs just so I could carry on the other ones and still have that foundation. So that's where we're at now.
So when was the age that you actually had the idea that this is what you wanted to do, this is the way it was going to be, and even when you got your artist name and stuff like that?
I was 16. I can tell you how, because it's a funny story really how I first ever got into writing songs.
Yeah.
It's just me at my mate's house after school one time, and there's a beat on, and I just say to him, "Oh, you want to write something to this? You can have a little freestyle over this." I know. And then we came out the next day, put the same beat on again, and I don't think Kyle will mind me saying that he wasn't very good. But I think I had a knack for it, and I fell in love with it ever since then, really. And I think the first couple of songs, definitely some of them same bars will be in there. And then I just went away, kept writing. Obviously, I had nothing, no products, nothing, no production, no recording system at all. It was purely just writing it for the fun of it, putting the beat on my TV. And just sitting in my room going over it and going, change that flow there and there.
Nice.
Did you write them on paper, or did you use notes on your phone or something?
First time was notes on the phone.
That's the way, man.
My notes are absolutely filled to the brim now. It's just scrolling. But I don't mind writing on paper as well. I think that's where you get a bit more creative.
Yeah.
But you freestyle as well, right? You've got two freestyles out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I'm quite interested in, I've never understood the process of songwriting. I wish I could have, in terms of lyricism and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you learn to do either of those? How do you learn to either write a song, and then how do you learn to freestyle as well? Because freestyle's a crazy different thing to actually structuring a song out.
Yeah, and I know what you mean there. I never really thought about, when I start writing a song, I never think, oh, this is going to have a nice catchy chorus with the title in it, or this is going to be a freestyle. I kind of just keep going, get off on a tangent, and if I think there's a couple of lines where it's really got substance, and I can focus the rest of the song around that, and then tweak things before and after. So I'll normally start with a couple of lines, and then I can pick a line from that and think, all right, we can go off on this. And that takes you in the direction, really, just the first couple of lines, or so we'll just go from there. When
you were back in that time, would you just put for example 3 beats on something and then write something specifically to them, or were you writing them just off no beat?
That is exactly it. That a lot of artists in the industry and the genre will know about type beats and stuff on YouTube, and you just hear a song from one of your favourite artists, and all you have to do is type in type beat with their name before it, and you've got something similar. So that is how it started. Yeah, but going back to your question on the freestyles and stuff, that is just, normally they're just one consistent. It'll take me half an hour, and I just won't stop, and I'll just keep going, and then it's I've got the length on here, but yeah, like I say, I normally think, if I've got a title of a song like Gap in the Market, which was one of my first ones, that was before I'd even put pen to paper, and I had that idea, and then you write the chorus around that. and then fill in the gaps pretty much.
Right, okay.
No way.
I love that.
That's mad.
So, speaking about gap in the market, it's an interesting song, obviously, because Warrington itself, as the Warrington Guardian article sort of talks about, is very focused around like indie bands, alternative bands,
Exactly, yeah.
and rock bands and stuff. So, could you talk a little bit about obviously the inspiration of gap in the market and sort of what the Warrington scene has to offer for a rapper, if there is even anything?
Well, yeah, it's quite interesting, that song, because I say that I'm still going to break through even though there's no gap in the market, right? Because the rap scene in general is very saturated. Obviously, you'd hear about London, there's a new one every day, other places, Birmingham and stuff, but big cities, Manchester as well. But I realised, yeah, there's no gap in the market in that aspect, obviously nationally, but in our area, Warrington, as you say, there is no representation. No one really wants to, put one foot in front of the other and break that wall, and put themselves out there in the genre, because there's a lot of skepticism and a lot of talking around rap music. So it was just a passion. It was really just, I want to do this, and I'm not going to really listen to what anyone else says about it, because I'm enjoying it so much.
It's interesting though, because the demographic of Warrington itself, like all of the mates that we have, it as a genre that gets listened to, rap is massive in Warrington. I'd say there is so many people that listen to it, and it's such a big genre within your group of friends. But like you said, if you go out to town, you're never finding a rapper anywhere.
No.
There's no hip hop performances or anything like that at all.
And people would kind of dismiss the idea anyway because it's so minimal.
Yeah.
But I suppose you can see that kind of stuff, as you say, in like Manchester. It's different, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what it is. I was just a massive rap fan, UK rap music, and for being specific, and like going back to the point I said about the way it started was just really doing it, putting pen to paper or writing your ideas down, and then that's that's a foundation you can take off from. So
yeah.
Mad. So would you say like, talking about, you're a big fan, would you say that there's anything that like your influences, like rappers that have come before, that like have affected your journey that you think would kind of be useful to people?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, rap's took a massive shift in mainstream music. I mean, you can see how Dave's won the Mercury Prize for his album and things like that, and that just kind of inspires you, because you think there was one time where there was no money in rap music or no popularity in it, and now it is kind of at the forefront of mainstream music in the country. Everyone's listening to it, but in smaller towns like Warrington, no one's getting a part of it, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. It's exciting, really.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Have you thought about live in general as well? Like, have you performed before, or are you sort of holding that to the album?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I wanted to do something in terms of live performances to promote the album itself. I also wanted to get streams, a bit more popularity, people to take me a bit more seriously before I stand on stage and people go, who's this, you know what I mean? And so I'm looking at doing some this year actually. So
this year?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Are you allowed to tell us about anything like that, or?
Well, nothing's really in the. Well, we've got things in the pipeline. I don't want to say it's nothing in the pipeline, but there's nothing formal, so I don't want to say some false promises. Exactly. But you two best be there. I say that.
We'll bring tons of people. Don't worry. No, that's fine.
I'm hoping I could do that myself.
No, I definitely think you will as well. And like people are, Manchester is such an easy place to start with that. As well. Like we go to so many hip hop gigs already ourselves in Manchester, so there'll be a place to jump in on that as well.
Especially being in Warren, directly in between Manchester and Liverpool, you've got that scope, because
it's weird that it doesn't have a kind of more developed scene in that area in a way, isn't it? Because of Liverpool and thinking about like Packs and Boat, like stuff in that kind of northwest is so big.
It's massive in the northwest now.
But not Warrington.
And I think that goes back to gap in the market. There's not a gap in the market locally. Nationally, but there's definitely a gap in the market locally, and that's what I want to. So I want to penetrate.
Yeah, sweet.
All right.
So, like one of the things that we found, obviously, when we were looking up at what you've released and what you've done is we found your Warrington Guardian article, an introduction to
the local paper.
The local paper. It's I think that's really interesting. Like you were able to get some local representation from people as a good promotion tool as well. And as they sort of said in the article, you're one of the first people sort of paving that, and you've got them interested.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Like, did they approach you? Did you approach them? How did it happen? What was your experience like in that process?
Well, yeah, I say it's a funny story. It's quite simple, really. I mean, I was just at work one day. They followed me on Instagram. So I was like, the Warrington Guardian's following me on Instagram. Meanwhile, I'm sat at work. I've got shortcuts to Warrington Guardian, so I'm always just like, oh, what's going on? Because I am so interested in the town and stuff. And they followed me on Instagram, so I screenshotted it, sent it to my mates, and they were like, oh, that's funny. And then they DM me about 10 minutes later saying, do you mind if we write an article about you? I really like what you're doing. And and it's a big thing to represent Warrington like that. So I was like, obviously, I'd be more than happy. I love the paper. I like what you guys do, and just jumped on a Zoom call with one of the journalists, and he just obviously asked me a few questions, and then the article came out from that.
Nice. Isn't that it's mad how simple of a process that is as well. Like how that just happens. It's a good point to point out there. Like if all it takes is a DM, like we've been finding this with the podcast too, is you get a bit worried thinking like, oh, is somebody going to be interested? Is somebody going to open it? All it takes is just one DM, and usually there's someone on the other side who goes, oh yeah, I'd love to do that.
It was a good opportunity for me, gain some more fans locally. So
obviously you just mentioned the album as well, and we definitely want to get into that. How did you start writing through the album, and how is this being produced as well? Are you producing it? And if you are, what was your journey like starting from making that tune up to where you are now?
Well, the album, I'm not going to give away the title and stuff yet.
Yeah.
But that is very, very soon.
Nice.
But the album, there's a title track obviously in the album, and that was the first song ever finished, if you will. And I thought this is such a good idea that I put it to one side for ages. And at this point, I'd never even thought about the album. And that title track, from the track I got the idea from the album, and then obviously released the rest of the songs that I had. And then while they were coming out, I had time to make the rest of the album, so I wasn't, falling behind on content. And yeah, I just I had I had the cover, I had the song, the title track, and I had the name of the album, and then I had to just fill in the gaps really. And now it's done. Yeah, it's done, ready to go. I'm so excited for it.
Nice. How did you get the artwork for that? So all of the other things, I think, is something within your control there. Did you? Oh, you're a graphic designer.
Yeah. Forget to mention, I did the album artwork.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say that I did all the cover art for every song I've done. So
that's
doing it all myself.
DIY.
It is. Yeah. So if you ever want to slag off the artwork, it's my fault. if you don't like the covers.
They're like a million different jobs in a way.
All
of those different components that you needed, producer, songwriter, self-promoter, do you know what I mean? Like manager by speaking to kind of play people like the paper and venues yourself, It's clear to me that like if your passion and drive to do it was the thing that kind of just meant that everything you came across you just then learned to do.
Yeah, like I say, it's just another rung on the ladder. No one's going to do anything for you.
Yeah.
And you can't really you can't just think, oh, that's too big of a hurdle. You've got to come over it some way. And you see these big artists with 100 people in the team and stuff, but when they started out, they didn't have anyone. Yeah. They got off their ass and did it themselves.
So what would you say, like, if there was someone listening to this, say that like thought they had talent and really wanted to do it, and felt like they couldn't produce, what kind of piece of advice would you give them, whether it's practical, whether it's about your mindset or attitude, to try and make their dream come true? Do you know what I mean? Is there anything you could say to them?
Well, I'd say it sounds simple, but pick a goal, whether it's short term or long term.
Yeah.
Set yourself a deadline and just do something every day that gets you closer to that goal, because it's not as far away as you might think. You can just do little things, and then they eventually lead up to big things, and that's why I'm here, just doing a lot of little things, trying to do them as best as I can as well.
Go on, man. So yeah, like when we spoke with Patrick the other day, like consistency is one thing too. Like you say, I think in general, like you're doing a graphic design job as well. You're working full time.
Yeah.
As easy as it is to say pick a goal, it takes a lot to be able to come home and still be motivated enough to go and what is practically in other people's heads work for another 6 hours.
Well, yeah. Obviously, like you say, graphic design is all on the Apple Mac.
Yeah.
I got an Apple Mac, and I would do 8 hours on the Apple Mac at work, and I'd do 6 hours on the Apple Mac at home.
Yeah.
And now I've got a bad back. No, I'm joking. But I have had days where it's like, am I good enough? Is this good enough? What are people going to think of me? Am I doing it right? Am I working hard enough?
Yeah.
You know, but it's like you have good days and bad days
100%.
in anything you do. But it goes back to what I just said about having a goal.
Just wanted that much.
You just got to kind of look ahead of the ups and downs or hurdles, and you've kind of got to do little things to
Fair play, man.
get over them. Yeah, because it does look like, obviously, even popular musicians, popular artists, they'll have days where they're tearing up the desk, punching things because they're so angry. I've made a song and then Logic's crashed and it's not saved. And I've mixed a song. I spent all afternoon mixing a song and it was just gone like that. And it was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to touch my computer for 3 days. I don't want to speak to anyone.
Oh mate, I
don't want to do it again.
Recently.
Oh.
Hard drive, bro. It was a bad time, man. It was a bad time.
But like I say, I got up the next day, changed my mindset, and just went and did it again. And then the ups and downs, hurdles, you feel so good after it, and closer to where you want to be eventually.
Yeah, and there was one thing that you said before the podcast as well that you really did want to get out, which I think really helps being able to come home and still work, which is the passion of it. Like, there are a lot of people, as you mentioned, who might consider it as something as a way to make money or you know, a way to focus on the numbers so much, but you know, what's your opinion on that? Because you as you mentioned before, you were driven so much more by passion than that itself.
Yeah, at this point in time, I don't really care about money. Like I say, it goes back to how it started. It was fun. Me and my friend were having fun, seeing what we could get out of it, and I'm still having as much fun right now, and seeing the benefits that I can reap. So, if you go into anything with the mindset of this is going to make me rich, you're going to get into them dumps where you have bad days and you're just not going to be as committed or focused on it.
Yeah.
But if you've really got a passion for the thing you're doing, and that is obviously so important, you're not going to get anywhere if you're not enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. So, but yeah, that's, like I say, I just really enjoy getting like the hype, the serotonin and stuff that you get from from little things. Like when I made my first song, I had like a Snapchat memory from like 2 years ago, which was just me on my first basic song, and I was so happy. And it's like, look where you've come, and still getting little joys like that out of anything.
I wonder if we could talk a little bit about like how you started your home studio, like just off that, like the early stages. Like, what was the first bit of like gear that you obviously you had to like presumably a laptop.
Well, yeah, I got my Mac in December of 2019, I want to say, and I didn't do anything for a while, and I wanted to get a basic recording thing up in my room just so I could actually layer vocals onto an instrumental and just see how it sounded. Like I say, basics at the start. I went onto Amazon and I bought the Scarlett Focusrite set.
God.
I just, you know, the set with the mic.
That's what I got, mate.
The mic, the interface,
and the little
You get the headphones, you get the headphones.
big
yes,
headphones.
the red headphones.
I've just been passed down those headphones from him. It's embarrassing.
It's an honour.
So how did you find out that you knew you needed that package, for example?
Oh, it's just, you know, the intriguement of it.
Yeah.
It was like, I want to do this. I'm not going to sit on the idea. I have to do this. So I went onto YouTube and it was like, how would you set up? How do you record, basically?
Yeah.
I typed in, how do you record music onto a computer, and it was just like, these are the basics what you need. Obviously you need a mic, pop filter helps, some good studio monitors, and obviously my budget then was nothing. I was 16, 17, so didn't have really any money. It was like all just saved up from work. Got some of the worst Logitech studio monitors,
Yeah.
thin as anything, just to fit on the desk. And yeah, it was just that obviously taught you need interface. I was like, what's an interface? What's 2i2, 4i? I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
And but you pick it up, and like I say, if you're still enjoying what you're doing,
Yeah.
you're gonna just keep going down this rabbit hole of
Yeah.
where do I go from here. So I got the setup, got everything sorted, I got Logic up, and it was like, right, how do we use Logic now? I've got everything, but this looks scary.
Logic as well. Logic has this thing where when you first open it up, it has all the menus pre-selected open, so it just becomes so overwhelming. You look at it like there's too many buttons here. Like,
Yeah.
I thought there was a microphone button, and then I can put a little track.
Yeah, I thought, boom, you've got your main vocal track, you've got your instrumental track, bounce, got a song. But that's I quickly learnt that lesson. Takes a lot. Yeah, it is something that you think I'm delving into something way above my depth here,
Yeah.
and that is what happened to me really. But it was like start with an EQ, start with a compressor,
Yeah.
you know, and just if that sounds better, go with it. And then I went on to I actually had a Logic lessons folder put onto my Mac,
Nice.
which was like how to use Logic. I thought, no, YouTube. I want to see someone doing it while I can have a screen open and on Logic and just copy it.
No way.
But then obviously you carve that around your sound eventually.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing that at the time. I was copying what any other producer would do.
Yeah, yeah.
Was doing.
What do you reckon when you like first got into Logic, considering how far you've come now? You know, like what do you wish you knew back then? Like, what if you could go back and speak to like you a couple of years younger, but just about production? What would you say?
Well, I wouldn't say this is specifically something that I would have needed to know, but I think it'd be very useful. Obviously, Logic is for Apple Macs, iMacs, MacBooks, and everything's done with commands. So you need to know your commands. You know, just speeds everything up. But I knew that from being a graphic designer and working on the Mac. What do I think I know? That you can just put one take over the other, and just cut. And mix and match, because I'd record a vocal and one little thing in it wouldn't sound right, and I'd just delete it and do it all again. When you could just lay the vocal and pick between parts and fade it in.
You just solved so many problems for me there. You know.
It has a name. They call it comping. I've never heard of it either for like the first 4 years.
You actually blow my mind. Like when I'm making my YouTube channels, man, when I'm making my songs on there, I do the same thing. I record the entire bit, and I'm like, if it isn't perfect for the entire thing, I'm gonna have to record it.
But the thing is, I'm nowhere near an expert at Logic Pro. I'm still learning things to this day. Just like I say, working on the job, trial and error. It's kind of that. I'm still learning things. I'm just trying, really. That's all it is. Just like.
So, which was the first song that you started producing then?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Trying to think now, because I do prefer just getting an instrumental, downloading it, paying for leases, and then because that's what rap is really. You don't have to make the beats yourself. I mean, I know a lot of big artists do. Yeah, well, what I found was, like I say, I was nowhere near a Logic expert, and I made a few beats and stuff, and it was like, they're good, but there's so much mixing to be done on top of that it was like, this is taking ages. I just want to put what I've written here into practice. So it was like, I'll let some producers do that.
Yeah.
I know I do respect them a lot, because I know making beats is so hard.
Do they make a beat for you? You take a song in and go and record with them, or are you designing the song with them, much like the song?
No. I'll get the beat made. I'll have an idea in mind of what track, what lyrics I want to be over that, and they're always great. They'll send it back to me, and it'll be like, boom, this is just exactly what I want, and I've had no trouble so far with that. So,
okay.
But it is like I say, I can keep saying it, trial and error. I'll put lyrics onto it, and if that's not right, I'll switch it up. But yeah, the producers are great. They're just wizards, aren't they? Music wizards.
And how, so for someone who might have tons of lyrics and is in a position like you where they want to get a track out to them, how did you meet with these producers? How did you reach out to them? And
it's all done online. It is literally taking the songs I listen to on a daily basis, doing a bit of research into who's behind this, who's produced it. You know, they've got the tags at the front of the song.
Okay.
Literally going into Instagram, finding their socials, looking at what beats they've got, because they're always posted up, and just inquiring. And it's about that. And they always have like a beat store shop where you can purchase ready-made beats, or if you build that relationship up, you can get some personal ones.
No way.
That's what I like to do.
That's mad. So with the album, how many tracks have we got on it?
We've got 8.
8 tracks.
8, yeah.
No way.
So I've only just been learning out the difference between album, EP, LP, mixtape.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think it's a mixtape. It's got 8 tracks, so all of them are really well produced now. I did a lot of them, the producing myself. Got a great guy at Matchbox in Warrington, which is a production company, and he just goes over it to master it. There's a little few tweaks here and there to get that proper bassy sound, the punchy sound. What a couple of my first songs were lacking, and I think this album is the best body of work that I've done, and I can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Have we got any, the singles that you've got released at the moment? Are any of them on the album, or are they 8 fresh tracks?
No, 8 fresh tracks. No one's heard any of them.
Nice.
I kept them all to myself. I'm just got them all back now. Really, I need to just tell him what tweaks I want to make in the mastering stage. But I'll just leave it all up to him. He's great with that. So I don't want to step out of line and question his expertise, really.
Yeah, working with Matchbox, because they do videos as well. Do they do the music videos with
you? They do.
Too?
They've done every music video I've done. I've got a shoot on Tuesday for the title track of the album.
Nice.
But if I told you where it was, it would give away the name of the song.
And
the name of the album, I'll tell you shortly. Man.
Okay. And in terms of so your album there, you've got that one video for that one track. How many videos are you gonna make for the album?
Yeah, so I've got, like I say, that one title track. I'm making a video for that. That's gonna be like the big one, the main one. Been planning that for a long time. Got a few locations. I want to do the intro. I can give that away. It's called Intro. No. That song is gonna be done. I'm gonna do a live performance of that. So at Matchbox, they do something called Matchbox Sessions. I don't know if you've seen them. They do a lot of indie bands. They come in, record it live, and one take really in their studio. And I'm going to do that for that song, because I think that just sounds so good live. I remember recording it in my headphones and just having a reverb on it. It just sounded beautiful. And then so I'm going to do one of them, and I'm looking to do one more properly shot video. Like the title track that I mentioned. So there'll be 3. But, like I say, I'm still on a budget. I'm still working with what I've got at the minute, but I'm just trying to maximise that.
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, is there anything about promotion, maybe? Like, because you was having, like, a hard journey, like...
When I started, my passion was just music, making the songs, writing. It was like marketing and everything just felt so far away.
Yeah.
It was like, I want to stay well away from this and just focus on what I'm good at and what I enjoy. But it's got to a stage now where you realise how important it is if you were trying to build a following.
I think a lot of artists think that way, to be honest. Like, struggle with that side of it.
Yeah, man. I'm still pretty much self-promoting. I know for the album, I've got backing from a company, so I'm doing a lot of social media marketing and obviously getting on the curated playlists and stuff. Just trying to, because in Warrington a lot of it is from intrigue. It's like, let's listen to what he's got to offer, and then if we like it, we'll stay listening and stuff. But breaking the boundary nationally is what really sets artists off, I've learned. Yeah. And it is difficult to try and build a following of fans on social media, etc., when you're already doing a 9-to-5 job, or you're already 100%. Doing the rest of your hours doing music. So, but I've got to the stage now where I've built a bit of knowledge in terms of promotion, and realise how important it is if you really want to put your art out there to as many as possible. I just wanted to make music and see what I can do, or where that takes me. But I've just promoting these singles by myself, just to my socials, just to see if I can get a bit of a buzz around a particular single. But when it comes to something like an album, which took me 18 months, a lot of hard work, a lot of days and nights and staying up too late and stuff.
Yeah.
I think if you're putting that out to no one, you're kind of selling yourself short.
Yeah.
So you, in terms of that, you have to kind of look like 60-40, 70-30. I never want to say it's 50-50 because then your work's not going to be as good.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You have to put really like the work in and then think about that externally, like after, which is what I'm doing now. The album's done and.
Great, yeah.
So is it a label that you're working with that you said that you signed in terms of that marketing, or is it just a social media ideal? Yeah.
No, I want to work with a company that is like heavy on social media, building a relationship with. They've built a relationship with companies like Spotify and can get on curated playlists and stuff, organic streams. So, but yeah, when you're working with like an artist management sort of thing, they'll probably handle it better. But I'm looking at that for the future. That's not.
Yeah. So it's kind of, in a sense, it is still a lot of self promotion, but for
but technically I've set up my own label.
Yeah. No, that's
just don't shout about it. was a record. Yeah, it's coming
was
home.
a record.
Right.
Oh my god.
As if it was a. So we've had a lot of was a rep because I feel like we should mention that Matchbox are like a Warrington local company that are doing some cool stuff around the area. So it's nice to have them.
Shout out Matchbox.
Yeah, in the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm quite interested as well. So because. Like, we've been talking about music videos and how we're going to structure it, right? And it's completely new to us.
Mm-hmm.
If you're somebody who's got some material and wants to make a music video, what is that process like? Like, turning up on the day, coming up with the ideas for it? Do you go in with a concept of what you want a video to be like, or do you just leave it all up to them?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of phone calls, a lot of planning goes into it, but at the end of the day, someone like myself, I was so new to these music videos and stuff. You just turn up, you've got an idea, and you just see what you can get out of it. Really, there's nothing to worry about in that aspect. Like, you're gonna get some content. It's gonna be better than you ever imagined, just because you don't think it's possible until you're in front of the cameras and you're in front of the lights, and they've got fancy smoke machines and.
Love it.
Yeah, because you've got like 3 videos out now, haven't you? On YouTube. So like that with the freestyles and stuff as well, is that all recorded in their studio and then they've recorded the video with it at the same time?
No, I like to record a lot at home just because you limit yourself when you go to... Obviously I do go to studio and stuff and it just gets you away from that same environment, but you limit yourself when you're paying someone a high fee for an hour or two and then you stress out because you think, how long have I got?
Yeah.
But when I'm at home I can just really get into that flow zone. Where if one part of the song is going to take me 2 hours, it's going to take me 2 hours, and that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you go studio, you could potentially come out with something that you don't think's perfect. And I like to say I'm a perfectionist, and then if you want to go and make tweaks, you're gonna have to pay more. Everyone's time. So I think I hit the nail on the head by just starting up in my own and building that studio up, because it gives me a lot of freedom. It's like my space now.
Yeah.
It's not someone else's you're renting and worrying about, when they're going to kick you out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I respect
But studios are great because they do sound great.
Yeah.
They sound better.
They do. You just gotta, like, we've learned the hard way, haven't we? It's so much harder than you think.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of work you've had to put in, but
I mean,
like I say, you know your studio, don't you? You don't have to navigate yourself around all these crazy
all the new things,
pieces of equipment. Yeah.
I know what you mean. I think there's definitely something to be said for like just the glory of the home studio in general. Like it was the start of like everything that I enjoyed in life was when I just started getting like.
Yeah, like I think it's so interesting. Like, one of the things on the podcast we particularly like to focus on is the fact that we are in a digital generation now. Where,
definitely.
Like, it used to be very well guarded behind. You had to go to a record label. You had to go to a studio to do this. Whereas anybody at home can now start jumping straight into this and learn how to do this themselves.
Yeah, but also on the YouTube thing, like imagine how many rappers didn't come about because there wasn't a chance for you to just go and hear a well-produced beat on like a device in your pocket and just spit over it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's part of this kind of digital generation thing where like there's so much more talent around because so many more people who are maybe not got the same connections or money are able to just come out and develop their talent. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the reason why we do.
Well, you mentioned the digital generation. I think it is making use of the resources that are out there, and going down avenues where you've got to find things like such as YouTube videos and me networking with producers and stuff. It's all just going down certain like avenues where you don't know where it's going to end up, but you're going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Which benefits you, and it's lucky for me because I've just turned 19 now, so I'm starting off early, but in the generation where things in my genre are just progressing rapidly, and I can pull up my phone and get a new beat from my favourite producer that he put out an hour ago.
Yeah.
And you know, get in contact with them that way, which I think decades ago was literally non-existent, obviously. So
yeah, of course,
it is making the use of resources.
Yeah,
definitely.
What would be the best thing to tell someone to get into music?
It would just be have an idea, build on the idea, and just run with it. And if you care enough and are passionate enough about it, then you're not going to care what anyone says, and you can see deep down that you've got a good vision. And I'm still miles away from where I want to be. You know, I'd still say I'm only just starting, obviously. But you mentioned like how far you come and stuff, and it is just putting things into practice, taking what you've got, and that passion will drive you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And little goals. Like I said, I set myself goals every single day, but the main goal is, you know, years and years away. But you know, it's
Can you share your latest goal with us? Have you got it?
That's a good one, actually. Yeah.
Or just one of the goals. You know, one that's not going to kind of give away anything about your upcoming.
This is, you know, giving away a little bit, but I'm getting onto to, you know, popular music channels that are massive in the rap scene. You know, your Grime Dailies, your SBTVs and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And that was like my first goal when I started. It was like, if I ever get on there, I've made it.
Yeah.
And it's looking like a major possibility at this point. So
no way.
So that's the next big thing, because that is obviously just promotion from one big channel that has thousands of fans that just go, oh, it's a Grime Daily video, let me click on that. So yeah, that's where we're going. We've obviously got the album coming out. That was the goal. But that was the goal, you know.
Yeah.
But like I say, it was the first song I had. Turn that from a song into an album. It's like that is my baby. But I've already got another album in the pipeline. An idea. I've got the cover art.
Have you got a date for the?
Got a concept.
Yeah. Have you got a date for this album coming out?
I haven't. I wanted it to be April, but like I told you, perfectionism.
Yeah.
We could have had it this month.
I know. We're gonna have to come back.
No, it's good though, because maybe then the podcast might be out.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, you never know.
Or we can come back and do
round 2.
Yeah, how's it gone after the album? What's the response? You know.
Do you know it'd be really good?
God.
Because after you get that, get on that TV, you'll be able to like talk about what it's like to literally say, "This is my goal. Once I'm there, I've made it," and be there and have done it. And talk about that. Do you know what I mean? Because I think a lot of people like set themselves a goal, and then when they get to their goal, they're like, "This is just now the start." Do you know what I mean? Which is, imagine how you'll feel.
But like a lot of people referencing Tyson Fury when he said, "Oh, my goal is to be heavyweight champ," and he was like, "I've done that. What's next?" This was my goal, and now the album's done. I kind of thought for a minute, I don't want to have that. I've done. You know, what's next? So, like I say, I've already started. You know, you just got to keep going. You know, you can never be satisfied with where you are. And I'm
Would you say that's the mindset that you need to kind of have?
Yeah, because
success.
Everyone thinks, "Oh, I'm going to put one song out and I'm going to be famous now. I've done it. I've got a song out." But you know, your big artists and your bigger rappers, for say, that you see now, they didn't just get famous overnight. You know, they've made 100 songs, 100 you've not heard or seen.
Yeah.
They've gone through load of meetings, and I'm just in that process now. So it is good. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So is there anything else that you've got coming up that you want to promote just for the end of the podcast? Don't worry if there's not.
No, not really. I just trying to stay as active as I can on socials. I don't really like social media, but you have to these days. With the thing I'm doing, you have to. So just look out, junior__ caps lock on Instagram.
Yeah. What can people find of your stuff now? Like, what platforms are you using, and what can people go and have a look at now that they've heard how you built all this content?
Obviously, all the main music outlets, you know, your Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, all of them, YouTube. My songs get automatically uploaded onto my channel, but the videos are also on there. I'm going to have 2 videos hopefully out in the next 3 months to promote the release of the album, and No, not. That's it really. Just keeping going and never being satisfied. And once you've done one thing, start the next thing, because I don't like to take breaks, because I can never be satisfied with what I've done. I don't like to. Well, I do like to take a breath, but I don't like to take a breath for too long. Is what I'm trying to say. Because you get complacent, and you can easily get complacent because you think, or get worked up with, this song's not done as well, but it's just like, I've got a goal, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get caught up in hearsay, what other people are going to say, and how it's performing. It's just towards the end goal, isn't it?
There is a lot of I think of anxiety around people will hold on to tunes for years and years and years with that guise of perfectionism, when in reality it's actually sort of like a fear of actually putting something out. Is there any piece of advice you give in terms of overcoming that sort of feeling of actually putting yourself out there for people to see and judge?
I still get that all the time. So proud of you for actually putting it out there, and I sometimes think, why is that so special? But now I look back and I think, it does take a lot of courage, but you have to be so confident in that your work is the best of your ability, that no matter what people say, you can just say, well, I've put all this effort in, I enjoy it. It's just it's not looking for validation from the outside, it's looking at validation from yourself, and if you think it's good enough, then that's good enough for me. So if it's not good enough for someone else, they don't have to listen, do they?
That's true.
Pretty great mindset for someone just turned 19.
Isn't it? Yeah. This is the thing.
You can have a very successful career, I think.
I hope so. I'm still learning these things.
No, of course, but it's about how much you're not going to stop. You know what I mean? I think that's the best way to succeed, is just to never stop trying.
That's what it feels like talking to you, Jack. It's that you are just doing it for the sake of having something fun to do for the day, and you're just loving what you're doing, which
keeps me out of trouble, doesn't it?
Yeah. Does it though?
You can decide that for yourself.
Well, that's what I'll have to find out from the videos, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I just really enjoy it, and I think that's one thing that people starting have to take with it, the enjoyment. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it, because you're not going to succeed.
Yeah, it's true.
But that's not to say I still don't get anxiety when my song comes out. Are people going to like it? What are they going to think of this line and stuff? I still get that, but it's just thinking, no, my opinion is more valuable than the opinion of people that are looking far from the outside.
Yeah, true. I think you've given so many people so much good advice in this episode today.
100%.
Like, there's a lot in there that people who might be disheartened or might feel like it is a million miles away actually feel like it's been brought a step closer. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking to us about it.
Thanks for having me, lads. Really enjoyed it.
No worries.
I just want to say, fuck it. The album's called Golden Gates, boys.
Yeah, we got the album.
It's going to be out very soon.
I love that.
Look out for it.
Oh no. So now we've got a situation, right?
You got a USP.
Either we've got to get this out. Thanks for tuning in to Making a Mentor. If you want to support Junior, you can stream his new mixtape Golden Gates on all major platforms. And if you want to come on and talk to us, DM us on social media or email us at contact@makingamentor.co.uk.